Hey, what's up, guys? It's Spangeth here. So, actually, I'll give any updates I have as to pertain to anything new or that I've talked about previously. And then today I'm also going to go over mental health, mine in particular, and depression and anxiety a little bit too. Because I know it's very important. I know a lot of people, especially right now, are probably suffering from this, and some people don't understand depression. If you've never had depression, it's it's not something that you really can grasp because it's I don't know. I mean, you can describe it as much as you want, but unless you truly have been in that true depression, then you just really can't understand, and it's not something simple to just snap out of or get over per se. And I know this from years of experience with depression. Um, so I'm going to start with that because really I don't have any real updates. I'm still waiting for the referral to go through for my new hand doctor at UCLA. So there's really nothing else new. I mean, I got antibiotics for what's going on in my bladder area, but nothing's really changed with it. So I'll probably be seeing a urologist soon, and then I'll update you guys with that and anything else that comes about. Um, so with depression, okay, so I was, I think, 22 years old. Forgive me if I don't remember the exact, age or whatever, but um, and when I was 22 years old, I was woken up one morning from my sister and my mom, and was told that my father attempted suicide. He's been suffering with depression and many other things, many other demons in his closet that he struggled with, and he started experimenting with drugs, as a way to, as he put it, cope with not just his mental but his physical pain. Um, and he, like probably most people who think, oh, they can control it. They're smart enough to, control the intake or whatever. And unfortunately, as you know, that's not the case. That's not how it works. That's not how drugs work. Once you're addicted, logic goes out the window. Um, and we got him help and got him clean, but he wasn't ready for it. He didn't want it, and eventually he relapsed, and uh, eventually he accidentally took too much one day, and he died. And the only solace in that is that at least he went peacefully. Sorry. Um, but from that came my own tragedy. It was very difficult to lose my father. He was a good man, hard worker, and I was about, I think, 25 or 26 years old, and at that point I had completely become isolated and lived with my mom, but I was cut off from the world, from anyone. Um, I was depressed, and I didn't even know it. And I immersed myself into video games and use that as a way to escape my shit life. And sorry for the swearing, but um, and it wasn't until one day something happened with my fake reality that kind of, I don't know, just triggered something in me, and I became suicidal. I thought to myself, I should just end it all. And, obviously I didn't, because I'm here. But the reason why I didn't is because, one, well, I'm stubborn as hell. And two, I'm just not, I just can't do that to my family. I've always been, the person that puts their family before their own needs. And when the thought of my family popped in my head, and how much I know they would need me, that's when I knew I couldn't do it. And for some people, it's not that simple. Some people, and so I consider myself fortunate. And then I sought help, and, honestly, I told my family, and, my mom rushed me down to an urgent care where I met with this doctor who was there at the time, and he was amazing, to say the least. He talked to me privately and asked me questions and told me to rate my, on a scale of 0 to 10, how suicidal I was. And when he realized how bad I had been, he quickly went and told the nurses to get, paramedics out here to transport me to the hospital. And they were having, I guess, I don't remember exactly what happened, but they were having a hard time getting someone out here. And there happened to be 2 paramedics there, dropping somebody off or something. I don't quite remember, but I remember that doctor clearly went up to them and told him the situation. And at first they were like, it's not really, our job. I don't know really what they said, but it seemed like they weren't willing to take me at first, and he refused to let them leave without me, and eventually he fought and went for me, and they took me, and they had to strap me down, which that wasn't pleasant, but they had to strap me down. I got taken to the ER, and eventually some lady came, and she placed me under a 72-hour psychiatric hold, and basically I was taken to, a mental institution, or a loony bin, if you will. That was probably really low point in my life. It was not a place that I ever wanted to be or will ever want to be again. It's basically jail for psychotic people or mentally ill people. And the difference is that, I constantly was, there was a room with TV, and there was always only the same 2 people in there. And that was because if you looked at them wrong, or, I don't know, they just didn't like you, they would, rage out on you or something. And so I just, mostly stayed in my room and just waited for time to pass by. It was awful. They make you shower every day. They force you to. You can't opt out or anything. They make sure you don't have strings in your pants or anything dangerous or whatnot. And it wasn't pleasant. It was very, very rough place to be. And what made it worse is that, I was only supposed to be there for 3 days, but I ended up being there for 4 because they messed up and didn't give me Prozac the first day I was there, because they were supposed to put you on it for the 3 days, and then by that time you should be more stable to be able to go find a psychiatrist or psychologist wherever. But because they messed up, I didn't get it until like towards the end of the second day or something like that. And so come morning of the third day, the doctor there came by and talked to me, and he had said that now normally we would release you today later, at the end of the day, but because unfortunately they messed up and didn't give you your medication right away, I'm forced to keep you for one more day. And like I said, I was in a bad state of mind. I also have a lot of anger issues, or especially then, way more so then. And when you tell someone who's mentally just defeated that they have to remain in hell for one more day, I almost lost it on that doctor. And he knew it. I can see in his face that he was scared for his life, because I was so pissed and so angry that that's what happened. And thankfully I didn't do anything, because that probably would have made my stay longer. It's probably the only real reason I didn't do it. But so eventually I got out of there and started seeing psychologists or whatnot, and I had different ones throughout that next 2 years, I think, giving me different kinds of medications because they weren't sure if it was just depression or what else it might be, or whatnot. And of course they ask you billions of questions and you fill out billions of paperwork. It was very daunting, very unpleasant, and some of the doctors there weren't very nice. This was county doctors, so if you've ever dealt with county doctors you kind of understand. But it was hard. I went through probably 20 different antidepressants before one worked and didn't give me horrific side effects. And so I kept taking that, and I was better. With depression, I didn't want to hurt myself anymore, and but I still was not in a good mental place. And doctors, like I said, kept trying to come up with what they think I might have, and I forget the first couple that they came up with, but eventually the different doctors I saw over the years landed on bipolar type 2. Now, I know most people, when they hear bipolar, they think, manic episodes and stuff. But I didn't learn this until, actually then, that there's actually, I don't know, they say there's 4 types, but I think there's like 2 types and then 2 subtypes or something like that. But there's essentially 2 different types of bipolar. The one that most people know about is the bipolar where they become manic. They have manic episodes and they have these highs. Well, bipolar 2 is the opposite. They have really low lows. They have chronic depression and all these other fun things that come with it. And so even to this day, there's days where I'll just wake up and feel depressed. Or anxious or whatever it might be, it's, I can't say it's any better or worse than regular bipolar. Um, but it's a burden I have to bear. But after years of trying being on medications and talking to doctors and stuff, I eventually stopped taking all the medicines that were given me because I kind of felt like uh, Russell Crowe in that movie A Beautiful Mind, where he was a schizophrenic, but he was a brilliant man. And then once they found out he had schizophrenia, they gave him medication, but that medication changed his personality. It dulled who he was. And while mine wasn't actually that extreme, it sure felt that way in a lot of regards. I didn't feel quite like myself anymore. I just kind of felt mindless and kind of a drone, and just, it was just, wasn't good. And so I made the decision that I wasn't going to take that stuff anymore. I felt I was in a better place mentally to handle it without the medications. And I've been free of them since. Like I said, I still have chronic depression because of my bipolar. I still have anxiety and all those unpleasant things. And at least now that I know about it, it's something I can manage. Not to say that I'm not managing it perfectly, obviously. I obviously have other things I turn to when I get in those states, like food is, comfort for me, and whatnot. So, but, honestly, I'd rather eat, you know, kind of a couple bad foods here and there than be on that medication. That medication was just the worst. It was so unpleasant. Um, and, so it's just been a part of me. I've been living with it. Um, I've had to make a lot of positive changes in my life. Like, I never finished school, so I finally, at the age of 37 or something, went back and got my GED and started going to college. And I'm just trying to make a future for myself. And it's tough. It's definitely not an easy thing, especially when you haven't been to school in years. But yeah, so now, while my story may be better now than where it started, I know a lot of people still suffer from this, and well, I can't honestly tell you what the magic formula is because there isn't one. Um, all I can say is that seek help. You know, I know that's not easy to do either. It's not exactly always in our human nature to, let those skeletons or whatever you want to call them out. Um, and so a lot of people suffer silently because of it. And I know if people who haven't had depression or known somebody who had depression, you don't necessarily see the signs. um, None of us ever saw the signs of my father being addicted to drugs. None of us saw it because we never knew what that was, how it looked, how they acted, and such, until it was too late. And that's the same with depression. Unless you really know what to look for and listen for and whatnot, and it's unless those people come forward, it's not that easy. you know um, Even now with my depression, there's I isolate myself from time to time because you just don't want to be around people. It's just how it works, and if you have anxiety with it, it's even harder. And there's a lot of other mental health issues out there that people deal with that help make them struggle or make them depressed or anxious, and it's always a hard topic for people to talk about. I feel it always feels like there's a negative stigma around depression in particular, that people think that they just need to snap out of it, or just tell yourself to be happy or some bull crap like that. But that's just not how it works. It's a lot like an addiction. Unless you hit a rock bottom before you kill yourself or whatever it might be, you have to hit a rock bottom and be willing then to seek help. And sometimes that doesn't, the rock bottom never comes. I'm thankful actually mine did, and that I had reasons to not go through with it. But for those of you who suffer with it and who don't have many people in your life, I suggest that try making a friend or two. And if that's too much, especially now with how the world is, I would seek help. There's a lot of resources out there for it. Because it's just not worth it. It's just never worth it. So, it only causes more harm than good. So that's kind of why I just wanted to talk about my personal experience with it, and how brutal it can be, and that I hope those who are struggling with this, that they find their way. And with that, I'm gonna end on that note. But I also want to say that you're welcome to come and comment, or email me. Even it should be in my about page. I'll talk with you. I'll message you, whatever. If you feel you need just someone to listen or someone to talk to, feel free to let me know. I'll be here. So don't be afraid. Don't be worried about it. If you need someone to talk to, like I said, I'm right here. And I thank you all for supporting my channel so far, and I hope to continue to reach others and help others, and create a nice community of people that struggle and don't, and help us to come together and help each other understand. And I love you all, and I appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you guys next time.